Howdy folks, and welcome to Wellywood Wargaming. Now, most of you will know me as the Necromunda guy, but before Necromunda in 1995, there was of course Blood Bowl, and Blood Bowl has always been a huge part of my life, on and off. But I go way back to first edition back in the late 80s, Jervis Johnson's best ever creation, I believe, in Blood Bowl. Now, I've been playing this off and on for a very, very long time, attending tournaments, running my own tournaments in New Zealand as well. I've attended tournaments in different countries, and even though I'm not the best player in the world, I always try my best at these tournaments to have a good showing of it. So this tournament was an interesting one. The omission of star players in the player pack I particularly like, to be honest. I have to say the star players in the game of Blood Bowl in 2020 are a little bit of a problem, and it's not that fun playing against the likes of Morgan Thorg or Griff Oberwald these days, because they are just frankly undercosted and very, very powerful. So when I saw the rules pack for this, I was quite enticed by the omission of star players. Also, there was a coach cap on this one. There was a maximum capacity of 50 coaches. So I knew that all of the coaches that were going to sign up to this were going to be of a very high caliber here in Sydney. So going into this, I knew it would be a tough one, and I knew that I had to take a tier 1 team. That was Undead. So I painted the Punga Miniatures Undead up in time for this tournament, and I'm really happy with the outcome of these miniatures. They look super grim dark for Blood Bowl, but they're definitely in my style anyway. I'm going to go and have a look at the roster now and just go through a few things with my Undead roster. I was pretty happy with what I came out with. In this tournament pack, obviously Undead are a tier 1 team, and I had 1.15 in terms of gold to play with for this team. So I went with 13 players. So we started off with 5 zombies. These are my linemen. We also have 4 ghouls, and I've given them skills sort of accordingly based on the player pack here as well. We've got 2 white blitzers and 2 mummies in here too. Now I did get 6 skills in this pack, so no doubles on this one. I chose to give both of my mummies guard, and of course guard on another white blitzer here as well. And for the abundance of Amazons in previous tournaments and stunties as well, I thought it was important to put a tackle white in here too. And I have to say, by the end of the tournament, I was pretty happy with taking tackle. It definitely came up a few times. Also, 2 of the ghouls are naked, and the other 2 ghouls, my ball carrier, one came with block and the other one came with wrestle as a sort of safety or sacker. That was my list. I did have 3 re-rolls on here as well as 1 assistant coach too, and I was pretty happy with a well-rounded and balanced Undead list going into this. Also, if you'd like to see more Blood Bowl content from me, please do comment down below, because I'd really like to do more of this. Of course, Necromunda will always be my main focus, but there are other games that I love and play on a regular basis. So if you like this, please do consider liking, sharing, subscribing, and checking out the Patreon as well if you'd like to support me further. A beautiful sunny Saturday morning here in inner West Sydney as we file in to the Sydney Bowl for 2025. A limit of 50 coaches at this tournament, also part of the Waratah New South Wales series here, as all the players register in the morning with the NAF, and we listen to the official rules and lowdown from our TO, George.
Also 0 points, 2 touchdowns to your opponent, and 2 pads.
The first of 5 games with my Undead goes against Slan in the first round. We'll see how we do in this one. Slan, always a tricky customer, particularly in the pouring rain.
Good luck. Cheers.
After an exciting first round, all of the coaches file into the next room for lunch. A quick look at the table of prizes here. There are prizes for literally everything you can imagine, including my own contribution from Wellywood Wargaming for the Best Sport Award. We'll find out later who won that. My second game opponent was Skaven, 3rd edition Skaven, metal miniatures by the way, and a particularly fun and engaging and incredibly aggressive Skaven player here.
Good luck.
It's this guy.
Just that guy?
Yep. But he's away from your blitzes.
We absolutely breezed through the second game here, a really fun one. A look at all the other players still playing their second round games here as we hear from our TO.
So George Christodoulos is my name. My NAF name, for those that follow the NAF, is Georgie Christo. So behind me here is Sydney Bowl 6, so 6th iteration of the Sydney Bowl tournament. Kicked it off in about 2022. Actually started off as a sevens tournament and just post-COVID. So we played a number of sevens tournaments in a series format, but there was quite a bit of interest in 11s and there wasn't much going on post-COVID. So started one 11s tournament, then there was a request to do more, so I ended up doing 3 in the 1 year. So it was a very busy year and it's just grown since. So when we kicked off 11s initially, we had about 20 odd coaches, now we've got 50. And yeah, it's really, really good. So really, really thankful to the community for supporting the event. And look, there's potential to grow, but to be honest, I'm quite happy with 50. Yeah, it's quite comfortable.
You want to talk about the rules pack quickly in this one and how you've made any decisions to change anything from last time?
Yeah, so the rules have evolved. Traditionally, it's been a skilled buy tournament, very similar to Eucalyptus Bowl, where you have a set amount of cash, so $12.50 as the basis, and it is slightly tiered. And you buy your players, your inducements, your extras, and also your skills. But this year I've moved to a skills pack, and that's probably as a result of my experience in Spain and Greece with the World Cup and the Euro Bowl. I quite like the way they've set up the rules pack. So it's $11.50 for all teams. Tiered, so there's 5 tiers, and then each tier has their own skills package. Fairly generous skills package, starts with 6 skills for tier 1 through to 8 skills plus 8 primary skills plus 2 secondary skills for tier 5. Yeah.
And most importantly, no star players.
No star players. Yeah. Look, I do quite enjoy star players, to be quite honest, but in league format, they work really well as a catch-up mechanic, but in tournaments they can very easily be abused. So no star players, but the Tier 5 teams, or the stunty teams, they're permitted to get stats and multi-stack as well. So you get a little bit of boost. There's a few stunty aficionados that are crazy enough to take the stunties in this format, and good on them.
And someone from the United States as well.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So we've got about 7 interstaters, which is fantastic, but we have 1 coach from the US. So it's really, really good. You know, I don't expect international coaches. We have had 1 coach from Spain. I still keep in contact with, top guy. But yeah, look, it'd be great if we could get some more internationals, but tyranny of distance.
We're only 2 games in, but can you predict a winner yet? Anyone you've seen who's particularly scary yet?
Not just yet. Still very early. James playing on table 1. He bullied his way there after round 1. I think it was 5-0 or something like that. Something ridiculous, but still very, very early. Yes.
All right, we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks. Cheers.
So we're 2 games into the Sydney Bowl here, and it's been awesome so far. I must say the thing that stands out so far is the omission of star players. It's been really nice just to play bare bones Blood Bowl the way it should be played without any really swingy star players so far. In the first game, I won 2-0 against Slan in the pouring rain. They had some bad luck, the Slan, and I just did my usual thing of sort of grinding up the pitch in the first half when I received and scoring on turn 8 with a bit of a potato. The Slan were pretty good. They put lots of pressure on with wrestle and lots of diving tackle, things like that. But it went my way in the first half. Then in the second half, the Slan went for the early score, and in the pouring rain, I blitzed them. Ended up popping the ball loose and catching it with a zombie, handing off to a ghoul and scoring 2-0. No Kaz, I don't think, in the first game though, which was quite unusual. But a 2-0 win in the first game meant that I went into the second game with a very, very aggressive Skaven coach who was really fun to play against, actually. Really in your face from the off. However, the first action of the game was a block from his Rat Ogre, which sort of ended up making the Rat Ogre stand next to my mummy, which, of course, first block of the game, punched out, casualty. Ended up being a 5-0 Kaz with a 2-1 win to me as well. So 2 wins out of 5 so far. I'm going to be on the top tables now against some really, really stiff opposition. But I have to say, playing against Slan and Skaven so far has been really, really fun. So yeah, I'm excited to see who I get next. I'm a little bit nervous, I must say, because it's always hard in sort of the end of a first day when your brain starts melting down a little bit. But a really, really fantastic event so far, and yeah, lots of fun. So I'm looking forward to the next 3 games here.
Unfortunately, the sound cut out here, but we had a mirror match in round 3 against another undead team. This one was particularly frustrating and was really all down to the dice. We both had bad luck, and here's my report on the 3rd game of the day.
3 games of Blood Bowl is a lot, and I always get a stinking headache at the end of a day of Blood Bowl tournaments. The last game, game 3, unfortunately was a loss. I had a mirror match between Undead, very good Undead coach, and he had all the bad luck in the first half. I had all the bad luck in the second half. However, it did finish 1-0 to him, but 5-0 Kaz to me, so lots and lots of casualties in this one, which was pretty good. So that sort of makes up for the difference, I suppose. But it's one of those games, you know, I chose to kick. He received. I punched out a mummy, which was fantastic. Kaz, regen. And then I stopped him scoring. He snaked in the end zone, which was huge. And I couldn't capitalise on it. I went for a long sort of pass attempt and just couldn't get that extra one square of movement for a handoff to score. On another day, it would have happened. And then in the second half, I receive and just can't remove enough players with the mighty blow and whatnot. And yeah, it's one of those ones. It's one of those ones that's a bit of a strange one because 5-0 Kaz to me should look like I was dominating it, but he just had the right people in the right places. A ghoul with wrestle and tackle was really, really very good in that matchup, and he just managed to get the right pieces in the right place. It was a scramble for the ball for the whole of the second half, in my half, and yeah, he just made it across the line in the end there. I tried with the last 2 turns to make a passing attempt, but of course the weather changed to a blizzard, and that certainly ruined that idea anyway. So feeling pretty good about day 1 here with 2 wins and a loss. So I should be going sort of upper sort of first third, I suppose, still, or towards the middle tables now tomorrow. But you know, at least the competition won't hopefully be as stiff as I sort of start trying to submarine a little bit. But I think 2 wins and a loss is certainly not enough to win this thing. You generally are going to need at least a draw and 2 wins going into the second day to actually, you know, try and compete in those top tables. However, the Kaz difference is quite big. I think I got 5 in the last game, 5 in this game. And I think I've got at least 11, 12 Kaz now, which is fantastic. Lots of fouls too, but we're not logging that in this one. So anyway, that's day 1. I've got a stinking headache, so I'm going to go home and get an early night tonight, and we'll be back tomorrow with 2 more games at Sydney Bowl.
Into the second day here after being well rested on the Saturday night, and we are yet to find out who we're playing in round 4. So in round 4, I ended up against a Khorne team, a really good-looking sort of ape team here. I'm not sure the manufacturer here, but Khorne, this guy going into it, I spoke to him previously. He was already doing really, really well with a mighty blow claw big guy, getting lots and lots of casualties against all comers. I think this guy was looking at most Kaz for this tournament as well, so we'll see if he picks that up at the end here. A really close game in this one, and my report will follow on this one in a bit. Very, very tense here as I enter back into the room in halfway through round 4 here. Nobody making much noise, not a peep, lots of concentration and sweats on as things get really serious towards the end of the second day here into the second half against Khorne now.
Landing, yeah. So at the moment he's landing on a 3.
Mark my words.
Sadly, I was eating my lunch as I found out that the Best Painted Award was to be presented. So I did put my own team into this, but I think it was all too late by this point and the votes had already come in. Otherwise, perhaps I could have won this. I'm not sure. There were some very good-looking teams on display here, though, particularly those Skaven. And, yeah, unfortunately, I think I missed the bell with this one. Into the last round against humans now. I hate playing against humans. I have really bad luck against humans, but this one was absolutely electric and a real fun opponent to play against here. A look now at that massive cup trophy there, ready for the winner. Certainly not for me at this stage, but, you know, will I get a prize? That would be nice. If I can place in the top 10 or top 20, I'll be more than happy. James there looking pretty happy about his position at the top table. I think he's been there for nearly 4 rounds, actually sitting on table 1. So we'll see if he actually takes the trophy at the end here. Into this human game, though, and we'll see if we are as cursed. Look at all these casualties.
That's why.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Look at this, though. The mummy super blitz was...
Oh my goodness. What a day. I suppose I better start off with my post-match report from Game 4. Up against Khorne. Managed to get a draw there. I actually can't remember much about that game. It was all a bit of a blur. My mind, I hadn't had enough coffee in the morning. It was fun. It was a real test, though. I did the sort of 1-0 grind in the first, as I received in the first half, and my opponent then scored in his turn 4 of the second half, and then I had a chance to score at the end of the second half of Game 4 against Khorne, and potatoed, and unfortunately that didn't work out, so it ended 1-1. I think I lost on Kaz on that one as well. I then went into Game 5 feeling like I needed either a win or a draw. The last time I played Undead, the only time I played Undead, I got 2-1-2. So I wanted to improve my ranking by getting at least a win or a draw in Game 5. So going into this, I was 2-1-1. So Game 5, I'm up against humans, and I thought, oh, this is quite a favourable draw. It's not too bad. They didn't have that many players. They had lots of re-rolls and some interesting skill choices. No guard, apart from on the Ogre. And he just had really, really hot dice all game. I virtually got pitch cleared. It was 1-1 in the second half. Fast forward to the second half, it was 1-1. He received, scored early. I then received at the end of the first half. Then after that, he just removed all of my players, virtually pitch cleared me. All I had left was a tackle white, 2 guard mummies, and another guard mummy and a zombie on the other side of the pitch that couldn't do anything. The humans just had guys everywhere, catchers, throwers, manages to pick up the ball and hands off to a catcher. I then do a cheeky double go for it blitz with a mummy with 2 dice on a blodge catcher, knock him down, take him out of the game, ball spills. I then cover it with the tackle white, and my opponent fails to do the catch when he's doing a throw to actually, make it 2-1 in his favour. He really, on a normal day, would have won that game, but my mummy saved the day, and we end up at 2-2-1. So definitely an improvement on the last tournament. So I'm not sure if I've won any other prizes or anything like that. There is Best Painted, and I did enter that. I'm not feeling too confident about it though, because there's some really good ones in here. Anyway, we're going to head back and see about the prize giving. Super fun tournament, I have to say. The omission of stars in this one particularly was a highlight for me. I did really enjoy playing bare bones Blood Bowl against a bunch of very, very talented coaches, some real ability in this group of 50. I think because there was a cap on numbers as well, it was really good because it brought in all the best coaches from Sydney generally. Prizes were given out to a whole bunch of people. There was also a raffle to go with this. Not only did we have Best Painter, we also had Most Encouragement, so the person who was on the bottom table at the end of the 5 games and then won, which is quite a cool prize to give out, I think. We also had Most Completions, which is something we were logging in this one. There wasn't a prize category for Most Fouls, but there was, of course, Best Stunty, as well as the top 3, and Most Kaz and Most Touchdowns as well. There was even a guy dressed in full gnome outfit, of course, playing gnomes with prosthetic ears, who won Best Stunty, so fantastic effort from him, especially on the cosplay front there.
It was nice to see that a lot of my opponents actually got trophies for things like most completions and most casualties in the case of the Khorne player. But then I decided to give out my own award for the best sport, the person that I thought brought the most sort of happiness and joy to the event, and that was a clear winner here. So I decided to give this guy the Chaos Dwarf team, as well as the Forge World Bull Centaurs and Spike magazine as well, as a little gesture from Wellywood Wargaming. I love to come into these events and actually give back to the community, so a little bit of speaking before I did that, and it was easy to choose a winner. The most sort of jovial and happy and upbeat guy here in the crowd. I think this was a fairly easy one to decide on. Such an awesome guy and definitely deserving of my Best Sport award here. So for third place, we had an excellent Necromantic build, unfortunately losing in the last game against the first place winner. In second place, we had my friend Clay picking up the second place trophy with his Chaos Renegades, I believe, which is interesting because they're not a great team, but in this tournament, they had lots and lots and lots of skills. And of course, first place going to James Russell Wills, aka Rabid Bogscum, a bit of a legendary player here in New South Wales and most deserving of the trophy with his fantastic Lizardman effort, getting 4 wins and a draw. Just a really solid display here, lots of touchdowns, lots of casualties, and yeah, a really, really solid display all around. Anyway, this tournament was awesome. I definitely encourage you to join next year. Sydney Bowl in 2026 in February. I'll be back with another video real soon. Peace out.